You're listening to TJ's One of Us for the Always Next Year Podcast Studio Network. You can find the team on our Twitter at ANY Podcast. You can also find us on our website, www.alwaysnextyearpodcast.com. And now, to bring us in, the Jackdaws.
A fighting man I used to be, revered and feared through Killarney. Now I'm back, hitching with the wind. But if Mickey Flynn should ever find me, I'll throw me caution all behind me and square off on that son of a bitch again. He cracked open a river too, he beat me Sunday through and through, danced a jig over my unconscious frame. I won me healthy sheriff fights, well lucky soul still have me life since Mickey Flynn beat me dumb and lame.
Hello and welcome to another episode of TJ's One of Us here at the Always Next Year Podcast. I'm your host Shane and I'm joined in studio for the first time, Scott. Scott, how are you?
Pretty good. Flew in from Cali for a family wedding we had going on this weekend, so decided to do a podcast together for the first time.
What do you think of this makeshift studio that has no identity whatsoever?
Oh, I like it. We got the Incredibles 2 poster over there.
Can't go wrong that she's got thick thighs.
Yeah.
I'm defenseless.
Mrs. Incredible. Whew.
She's amazing.
Damn. Might be distracted during the filming because of that one. We got a bunch of sports memorabilia over here. Got the classic Iverson figurine. I remember having one of these growing up, so always good to see some Philly sports memorabilia around here. I'm surrounded by far too much LA crap lately.
Well, that's what happens. That is what happens. But we are glad to have you in studio. I'm glad to have you in studio. It was cool hanging out last night, again, at a family wedding, which I feel like it's probably not either of our things, weddings.
Nah.
But I feel like we both made the most of it. Beautiful wedding, by the way. Kevin and groomsmen and bridesmaids, whomever listens to this. Very, very nice evening for what it's worth. This is our 76ers segment here, so we're going to jump into some 76ers talk. The biggest news for the 76ers this week is the jersey release, which we both fully dig. Sixers Twitter's a little split, and I'm honestly kind of shocked about it. First instinct when that came out, or first impressions when that jersey came out.
I think I tweeted about this earlier in the week. It was just like, shit, I have to buy another jersey. And we've talked ad nauseum here about how I don't know when I'm going to wear these jerseys, but I need it, and I need to have it in my closet. I mean, the 70s vibe to it is awesome. The poster that came out with Ben and Joel like sitting up on the hood of a old school car, like I think I might need to get that poster too. Like the marketing that they're doing with this new jerseys is really working on me. So
100%. And that's the thing that Philadelphia sports Twitter right now doesn't like. They think that we finally have this new era of 76ers basketball and this new, superstar duo that we have, this homegrown talent duo that we have that we think that we can build around forever. They want them to have their own identity when it seems like Philadelphia, a city that is just so enamored by keeping our roots in sports and in anything. They sit there and they think, let's distance ourselves from those eras. Let's create this championship era. And I do not fucking agree at all. I think this is a super sharp jersey. I do think the marketing's brilliant. I dig the car. It's beautiful, beautiful car. And then they look great in them. Like Joe looks awesome. Ben Simmons is Ben Simmons. That's fine. But Joe looks awesome in that 70s jersey.
Yeah, he does. I'm a big 70s vibe kind of guy. It kind of looks like a Grand Theft Auto poster as well, which cracks me up because Ben Simmons is not a dude who I'd expect to see in Vice City holding someone up or beating up prostitutes. Like, I feel like he's just like a nice, level-headed guy. So yeah, I'm all in on him. I'm probably gonna buy one and then hate myself for buying it. Definitely better than the grays.
I hated those gray jerseys. I know you like them.
I didn't have a problem with them. I did like them. The marketing campaign was, again, what got me on that. So the Sixers front office and marketing that they've been doing is working on me, and I guess that's their goal in all this. But
specifically you.
Yeah.
Specifically the LA fan.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you think about the 1S that leads into both words? That's another thing that people dislike. I think it's sharp. They were comparing it on Sixers Twitter to the Boston's T-shirt last year, the See You Rise thing. Mm-hmm. Do you recall that T-shirt at all?
Not particularly.
It was just it was really, really poor marketing and just it's an awful shirt. I'll pull it up while we're sitting here talking about it. But what do you think of, or does it bother you, I should say, for the two words merging with one S?
Yeah, it did throw me off a little bit, and that was the only reason I didn't just fully admit that I loved it right away. It took me, I probably sat in work and looked at the poster for 20 minutes and probably should have been working and doing anything else, but important stuff, you know. It threw me off a little bit with the two words, but I think what they're trying to do with it is differentiate from the classic home jerseys that they've had for so long. And to be honest, with a white jersey, there's only so much you can do. And to me, I think this is a novel approach. No teams that I can think of have anything that looks like this. And to keep on that same plane, we have never had a team like we have this year before. So we needed a new and refreshing jersey so that, you know, in 15 years when we're all looking back on the year that the Sixers won the championship, we remember this specific jersey and we remember the team that came with it. So.
Yeah, see, that's why people are so attached to the 01 black jerseys that they wore, because there are moments like that. This is the shirt that we were talking about, the Cuss Christ.
Oh, yeah, that sucks.
That's a terrible shirt. And that's what 76ers Twitter was sitting there and they were playing off of. They're like, why would you use one letter to sit there and formulate two words? Because it looks like that, except it 100% does not. If you guys have not seen that shirt, it's just a Boston Celtics green t-shirt that says, "See us rise with the Celtics C." However, the C is like 1.5 size, both words there. It looks ridiculous. Awful shirt. Is nothing to do and not at all the same as what the 76ers 70s jerseys are.
Yeah.
So while on topics of jerseys, we went on a small tangent about it. I think your first episode where we sat here and we did talk about jerseys for like 15 minutes or so. So we're going to do it again because why not? Favorite 76ers jersey of all time for you?
So I almost wore them here today, but I'm an adult and I don't wear basketball shorts out of the house if I'm not working out. So I have a pair of the 01 shorts that I got, like the Mitchell & Ness ones. They were on sale off of Lids. I wear those constantly. They're probably my favorite, like, bottoms, I guess I would say. The tops, I really just like the classic white jersey they have going on now. I'm a big, like, simple white home jersey kind of guy.
The Fila one?
Yeah, the Fila one. Sharp. Yeah, with I even like the StubHub thing that the logos now that they have up there.
I'm glad it's one, and I'm glad they're simple, and I'm glad they're small.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Is when this initially was brought to the NBA, people were worried it was going to take a NASCAR approach. And I'm glad right now that they're small marketing advertising.
I thought they were going to go after like similar to soccer almost, and just you know, StubHub now owns the Sixers jersey, and like you don't know if that's a jersey or just an advertisement. It's just it's just there. So yeah, I think they've done a good job with that. StubHub probably pays like $1 billion to have that small logo, and
sure it does.
Hey, I'm sure it's working for them somehow. So yeah, I like just that simple one. I will say I do not like. You know how what was it? There were those old school ones. Like I think when Iverson was playing, they would do the throwbacks. Then that's when they became popular.
Sure.
I did not like those ones that came out.
The two-tone, the black or the red bottom with the white tops.
Yeah.
Yeah, those looked awful.
Yeah, I did not like them.
I did have one, but it was a gift. And so don't recall if I ever wore it. I will say this. So you mentioned it because we're adults now. We don't necessarily leave the home looking less than adulty. I had, during that run in 2000, 2001, I had full uniforms of their blue, their white, and their black. Yeah. And I had that Fisher-Price net that I totally outgrown in my basement. And that was my halftime ritual during every playoff game that year. Was I just fucked around on that net?
Oh yeah.
Could not have enjoyed that team, I think, any more than I did. And goes to show you jerseys sit there and bring back memories in that particular sense. My favorite jersey, however, is also a current Sixers jersey. It's their red jersey with the blue on the side and the Sixers in kind of cursive there across the chest. I fucking love the way that they made this like old school look in a new school way. It's like the perfect blended jersey for me. I love the stars going down the side. I like the three colors. I like the fact that all three colors like do pop and nothing's like just kind of this accented thing. They all have their own importance to it, and I just think they're super, super sharp. So those, hands down. If I'm going to buy a Sixers jersey, it's going to be that one or their 70s. 70s throwback right now, which is still, I still definitely dig it.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to talk for a while and pick up some jerseys before the year, and I will. Anytime I have a bigger purchase like that, I go through an extreme amount of buyer's remorse. So this is one that I might talk over getting this jersey for months. Like, how much longer do we have till basketball starts? Because every day I will think
October 22nd, I think.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
I'm going to be neurotic for the next 2 months, Shane.
I don't blame it. We'll have regular intersegment bits here as to what stage of the process you are in purchasing this jersey. How many times has it landed in your shopping cart before you click, nah, I can wait. That's what we'll go through.
All right.
Jersey's not the 76ers. So what is your all-time favorite NBA jerseys? They've gone through different eras and different styles of jerseys throughout our lifetime and certainly beyond. Multiple throwbacks. We see them all the time. They've become super relevant. What is your all-time NBA favorite jersey?
Let's see. I do like the Warriors jerseys a lot, but it's not cool to like them anymore, I guess. So I don't know if I can say that. There were the city ones that everyone had, the Jason Richardsons, back when we were probably in middle school. I like the white version of those a lot. I like the plain kind of looking jersey. But to me, the best jersey in the NBA that there ever was is the Chicago Bulls Michael Jordan jersey. Back in the day when he was playing, it said just Chicago across. It's in red.
Yep. Is it just the jersey, or is it the history that comes with the jersey?
It's both. I mean, so Michael Jordan just made the Chicago Bulls jersey so like iconic in basketball and in pop culture and in music and all that. And also, he started a ridiculously profitable brand based off of just that jersey.
Yes.
So to me, that's the top of the top. I wear that. I do have one. I wear it every once in a while, but I like looking at that in my closet. It's something that doesn't cost $1 billion one day. I'd like to get one of those up on the wall somewhere.
There you go.
But we'll see.
So I have two. I couldn't really decide which one I liked more, and the old green Sonics jersey I fucking dig, and I can't tell if I love it because I really do genuinely wish Seattle had a basketball team again. I think they had a real, like, can you imagine that being the fucking Supersonics and then everything happens, you get Durant was up one year there, is that it? You get Durant, and then you have to go and see them draft like 3 of the next superstars in the NBA.
Yep.
For the next, that's fucking awful.
They go to a finals.
That I feel so damn. They're getting a hockey team out of all this, but fuck, man, I feel bad. That Gary Payton jersey, I want it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who are you going with? Are you going KD or are you going with the glove?
No. I hate Kevin Durant.
Yeah, that's true. We did,
which sucks because he went to Texas, and I'm a big Texas guy. But it's either going to be that jersey for me or the purple dinosaur jersey of the Raptors history. It is so ridiculous looking that I can't help but love it, and I fucking love Vince Carter. I talked about it on, I don't know if we talked about it on this or a different show.
We did. We talked a little bit last week because he officially said it's his last year.
Right,
so.
And I felt like he was the guy that you could just kind of pick up and implant in any era of basketball, and he would have an exceptional career. He's such a unique player to me in that respect, and he was electrically fun.
Yeah.
And when you're a kid, and that was the kind of fun you were looking for when you were watching NBA games, man, he provided that night in and night out. So for me, a little bit of what the jersey came with, and then the jersey itself is just ridiculously cool looking in a totally nerdy way. Like, I feel like they let a 9-year-old design the jersey, but for whatever reason, I fucking dig it.
That 9-year-old did a great job.
Fantastic job, because I would still buy that jersey now, despite the fact that I do not wear jerseys.
That brings up another one I remember too. I was a huge Tracy McGrady guy back in the day.
Love.
Do you remember those boxy ass Adidas shoes he had?
I had them.
The T-Mac ones. Oh yeah. It went over the toe and folded off.
We both
super uncomfortable.
Terrible. My toes hurt like a motherfucker in those shows.
And that guy was jumping out the gym in them, like doing ridiculous shit. The Orlando Magic Tracy McGrady jersey was a pretty cool one as well. I
love everything about the Orlando Magic except for Markelle Fultz.
Yeah, Have you seen the 30 for 30 on them?
yeah.
This magic moment puts a lot of it in perspective for me, and how much Shaq fucked them over, like
badly,
and how Shaq does not get any shit for that at all. Like,
which it doesn't make any sense. No. And he's not even like, and he wasn't then the most likable player to begin with. He had a persona and an attitude that people didn't love. He was just exciting and dominant because he was a size freak and an athletic freak at the time.
Yeah.
Look, obviously he made a career beyond the size and athleticism there. Like, he was just a really dominant player, but fuck, he should have gotten a lot of shit.
He should have. Yeah, in today's day and age, I think he...
Saved by no social media.
Exactly, yeah. It's a big one. Yeah, we should get more on Shaq for how he fucked over an entire franchise.
I would make a whole episode of that.
The Magic, like, they somehow just managed to do okay, too. They should be in shambles, but they're okay. Like,
they're middle of the road forever.
Yeah, they are. They're similar to the Marlins, I think, in baseball, where, like, as soon as they get good at all, they'll just get rid of everyone.
Can't afford it.
Yeah. And no one goes to their games. Like,
which is a shame, man. The Amway Arena, is it still called Amway Arena, I think?
I think so, yeah.
It's a nice place. Like, I love their court. It's one of the only courts that are semi-different that I'm like, I kind of dig this. Like, Boston's court, I fucking hate.
I hate the Garden.
I hate watching anything looking at that fucking floor. It's awful. Same thing with the Hornets last year with whatever the hell was going on in their goddamn gym. That fucking abomination out there. The 3-point line's completely colored in 3 different colors going across. I'm colorblind. It freaks me the fuck out to see that transition within a single arc.
Yeah.
I hated it. But yeah, the Magic are fine. One last note on the jerseys here. The worst jersey of all time. I have a story with mine as well.
Okay.
So go ahead.
I'll let you lead off with it then.
All right. So I'm pretty sure this jersey only lasted for like 2 or 3 years in Sacramento, but it is the gold Kings jersey.
I've never even seen this. I gotta look this up.
Dude, it is so bad. And here's the thing. So 13-year-old superstar basketball player at St. Jude, Shane, on the B team because he wasn't good enough to crack the A team.
Yeah, but you were a stud on the B team.
I was a stud on the B team.
Oh, this jersey's
It's
terrible.
hideous. That with the gold shorts, man. That was our uniform, except instead of the purple ring there, we had maroon. But all it did was I looked at that and I was like, why did anyone not make the other color the primary color of these uniforms? And I thought that with the Kings, and then I thought that with my jerseys as a 13-year-old, when we would go out there and we would look like someone vomited on the fucking court. Man. So for me, I have never in my life seen a jersey and had a personal connection to a jersey that made me loathe it that damn much. So high school Shane hated watching the Kings. Hated it.
So I'm gonna take a page off the away from this here and go. So I went to Lehigh University for college. Our school colors are brown and white.
Yeah,
brown is not a good color. Not at all, especially for basketball. So as I've talked ad nauseum at this point already, CJ McCollum was there when I was at Lehigh, and the jerseys were terrible. They had pretty sweet shoes. They had okay looking shorts, but they would go out there with these like gross brown heavy ass jerseys because we were too into academics, instead of athletics, so they wouldn't give them any money for new jerseys. These like heavy ass like baseball polyester like type fabric that they were all sweating through, and it was disgusting. It's one of the worst jerseys I've ever seen. And as I start building up in sports memorabilia, I want to get something about Lehigh and CJ and all that. But I don't want that jersey up on my wall. It's so gross.
I don't know why anyone would.
Yeah, even CJ doesn't. But
just get a shoe.
Yeah,
just get one of the shoes.
There you go.
Put that in a little box.
Yeah, we'll do that instead.
I think that's a quality decision right there. So we are all. It's weird. We are all big jersey guys and uniform guys here at ANYP. However, the only one who actually wears, or the only two who wear jerseys, are LJ, who has never grown up and he is only wearing jerseys, wears them to work, and then Rob will get every kick-ass uniform or jersey or weird jersey that exists, and I think he does it the same way you do, as opposed to buying things for hundreds of dollars. But yeah, so if you ever do actually meet Rob, I guarantee he's going to be wearing some ridiculous jersey. He's got a Bibby jersey, the Grizzlies thing. It's sick. I love it.
I like Mike Bibby.
Old Whalers jersey. Like,
The Whalers is a classic pickup there. Oh, yeah. One of my buddies in college had a Whalers hat. Wasn't a hockey fan at all.
Doesn't matter.
But it was just a great hat.
Yeah, I dig it. So we will definitely have more jersey talk here on this show and on any of the other ANYP talks or pods here. So last week we fucked up. I took this a different way than you did, and your way was significantly better. So we, to clarify for all future segments, this is the ANYP's top 5 media players of the week. So this is NBA players, current, former, whatever, who have made the media for some way or some reason. So we did 5. I feel as though now that we're both on the same page, we're probably going to have some similar stories here. So why don't you start off with yours? We will go your number 5 first.
Mine are in no real particular order this week, so I just went with it. So the first one for me is Draymond. So yesterday, actually, I think he officially signed his deal. I was sitting, hanging around, waiting for this wedding to start off. I sat for 5 hours in a hotel room with nothing to do but look at Twitter and,
should have went for the chick who couldn't handle herself.
Yeah, probably. But so it was me and our cousins, and we were just hanging out talking about Draymond a little bit. What I didn't realize is he took a giant pay cut.
Oh, yeah.
Which, like an enormous pay cut, almost $100 million pay cut to stay in Golden State. And Draymond Green is a guy that he kind of represented himself as an asshole in the last couple of years. Basically said, I'm going to go get mine, going to leave the Warriors. But to his credit, he's staying around there. He wants it to be him, Steph,
Do you think
Clay. Yeah.
His whole... I don't know that he works anywhere else. Mm-mm. Like, that system, offensively and defensively, maximizes who and what he is.
Yep.
Like, he's not a sexy get for, I think, 90% of the league.
And I think that's part of it, is he saw what happened with Boogie Cousins, where
exactly.
Once you leave your comfort zone, people don't really know what to do with you. They have an offense that's been built around him, realistically, for the last 5 years. Because I know Steph's
going to shoot.
He's going to shoot, and Clay's going to shoot. But, Draymond gets to do whatever he wants.
Oh, yeah.
He's the equivalent of the, 50-year-old guy in the office that you don't really know why he's there. But he does one good thing a year, and you're like, that's why Joe is around. I need Joe there. He just always knows something weird and quirky and, hooks us up and saves us a bunch of money. That's exactly what Draymond did for the Warriors. So,
quality. Do you like Draymond, or does he really fucking get under your skin?
I absolutely hate him. I don't like Michigan State. Don't like him.
I do hate Michigan State. I love Tom Izzo, though.
Weirdly enough, me too.
Yeah, I think he's such an old school coach with his fucking just get in your face attitude, and I feel like this soft ass society needs just everyone who's in control of anyone. It should be a clone of Tom Izzo.
And he's great in the tournament, too. Michigan State just always performs then, and I have a lot of respect for teams like that. But the Michigan State team in general, or Big Ten basketball, I just
basketball's
hate.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I hate them. I don't hate Draymond. To me, I kind of equate him to just that chirpster in hockey who just runs his mouth, gets under your skin, and he's not a superstar on the stat sheet, but he's a superstar in presence, and I just value that. And like I said, I don't know that works anywhere other than in Golden State with Kerr, with that system, with those shooters. But for who and what he is and the situation he's in, I can't not appreciate the guy.
Yeah. I think he's going to win over a bunch of fans with this kind of move. If anyone was on the fence or didn't like him much before in Golden State, they're now going to be a Team Draymond. So
yeah, I would agree. So my number 5 is a guy that I loathe, but I respect half of this of my 2 points here on him is LeBron. I loathe the Taco Tuesdays.
Tuesday!
I absolutely hate him. I hated the Instagram video of him going around and making everyone in the room say it. I hated that his kid stood up there and said it forever. I hated that AD said it. I just wanted to punch everyone in the video in the face. I fucking hated him. I love tacos, though. So you're damn right if I made tacos that evening after seeing that video. Did. I was like, I'm going to do this. But the second part of this is the real reason for this, for my pick here, is his reaction at his son's high school basketball game. Did you see that?
Yeah.
All right, so I have 2 thoughts, and they're kind of diametrically just different here. On one hand, I'm like, sit the fuck down. If anyone else did that, they'd be like, sir, you need to calm the fuck down and get out. And then the other half, I'm like, do you know how many kids do not get the support of their parents? And like, that wasn't even his kid, right? That was just the kid, like players on his team. Like, that's awesome. And like, that's a positive reinforcement. And that's a huge person in media right now and just in just the world. And he's super stoked for what you're doing out there. Positive reinforcements in ways that most people do not get. And I respect that. I wish it was harnessed a bit, but I respect it.
The thing with me is, and I hate that there's cameras around that are videotaping this now, I would like to think it's a genuine reaction, that LeBron is excited for this because it's his son and the players on his son's team, and he's like a proud dad who's like, there's Bronny Jr., there's my boy, you see him miss that dunk out there, it's okay, I still love him. Like, that's the reaction you want from parents. I hate the fact that there's this Twitter world and Instagram and all that where people are like now micromanaging his parent style and all that. Yeah. Like, it's the same thing as you showing up to watch your kid's t-ball game. Like, you know he's not going to... Well, it's a little different because his kid actually is going to go to the NBA. But like, you show up to this t-ball thing and you're stoked on it, and you know you're talking to all the other parents and you're all excited. No one really cares that much about your kid, but LeBron does.
Yeah.
So, good for him. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I hate LeBron. I'm not going to call him a bad parent. I don't know that any of us have the right to do that. If anything, I feel like professional athletes always get a bad rap for how they are with their families, and I think it's incredibly difficult to be a family man or woman being on the road as often as they are and being so dedicated to their craft to such a big bulk of their kids' lives. And we see it with like Dwayne Wade. We see it with LeBron James and athletes, Vlad Jr. You see these relationships built, and then that love for the game built, and the connect. Like, I genuinely feel like I was lucky growing up for a lot of my childhood. My dad was my best friend. Not everyone has that. Yeah. You think Bronny and LeBron aren't basically best friends? Like, they are father-son. There are values that I'm sure are instilled that we'll never see behind closed doors, and that's what family is. But I genuinely believe they just fucking love each other's presence, and they get that bond over that common thing that they love, and I dig it. So as much as I hate LeBron, I did think that was cool.
It is cool, and I think part of it too is, I mean, LeBron grew up with a single parent, just his mom,
Yeah.
Back in the days when he was getting that Hummer. You remember the H2 that nobody bought for him but magically showed up?
Just showed up there.
Yeah, in Ohio. Like, everyone has one of those when they're 18 in Ohio, right?
Oh, yes.
So he hasn't had a positive male reinforcement in his life for the beginning of it. So it's good to see him out there doing it, not just for Bronny Jr., but for the rest of the kids on the team. So
yeah, I dig it. I'll go with your number 4.
All right, this is a weird one. Steph Curry, not because of his terrible mini golf show, not because of his wife's restaurant or whatever else is going on.
The car video?
Yeah. Well, not even the car video. I literally just saw the other day, he is the oldest player on the Warriors now. He's
Seriously?
31 years old. The oldest player.
I guess Draymond just looks fucking old as fuck.
Yeah, he's 2 years younger than him, I believe.
Draymond's 29?
Yeah, something
Holy
like that.
Shit.
Might even be younger. But, so I saw that, and immediately in my head, I was like, oh, I need to go see these Steph Curry old man memes. They haven't hit the internet yet. Are you kidding me? Like, I cannot wait for Reddit and Twitter to get a hold of this fact. So I'm going to hopefully get this out there a little bit more. Like, people, we need to be making fun of Steph Curry for being an old man now. Like, I'm excited for this. Like, maybe we'll have an interesting couple of weeks now. Like,
that's absurd.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's too light-skinned for it to matter. Like, he's just going to look 30 forever.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is not at all racist, just colorly aware.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so my number 4 of the week is a former NBAer, Mike Miller's monkey. Did you read this?
Yeah.
This shit
unbelievable.
Made me pee myself.
Yeah.
So if you are not aware, he has a pet monkey and also pet dogs. And his dogs are in one room, and the monkey is in a different room. And they were out to eat or something, the Miller family or whatever. And somehow his monkey breaks out of the room that he is in, goes and lets the dogs out of the room that they are in, or were they outside? I can't remember, whatever it was. Whatever. They get loose in the neighborhood together, and the monkey is riding the dogs. Yep. And he's getting calls from his neighbors saying, your pet monkey is 100% riding your dogs around the neighborhood right now. And when being questioned about this in an interview, and they said, how did the monkey get out of the room? He goes, that man got bunnies. He jumped. He's basically like Stevenson and them guys. Who says that about a fucking monkey?
That was my favorite part of the whole interview.
I could not. I think that's the part where I was like, all right, I got to take a leak. This is ridiculous.
He's so straight-faced during it all, too. It's just like, yeah, this is how I talk. Like, I got a monkey, and the monkey's got hops, man.
That's it. Like, it's so casual and
game,
normal.
respect, game. Like...
So that is my number 4 of the week. Holy shit, Mike Miller's monkey.
Yeah, I was laughing about that. Did you ever get into listening to Preston and Steve in the morning?
No, not really.
Okay. So I used to listen to Preston and Steve pretty religiously. I've since stopped just because I'm
not here.
I'm not here, and my morning is not the same as their morning. But they used to have this segment where they talked about a monkey riding a dog forever. And they had this dude come in the studio that brought a monkey that was riding a dog. Should have just been Mike Miller's monkey, apparently, with his dogs, because they just do that organically. Like,
you get bored one day as a monkey, and you're just like, I'm going to ride that.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It was just awesome. Prime time, what we need in the off-season here, and this is why I love the NBA off-season. Mm-hmm. All right, we got number 3 coming up here is Zion signing his new shoe deal with Jordan. I was just looking up the details of it again real quick. $75 million over 5 years. The richest rookie shoe deal ever. I had read a bit more into this. He almost signed with Puma, and there was a...
That'd have been weird.
It would have been weird, but it would have been a huge get for Puma.
Oh, for sure.
Like there would be, I think, DeMarcus Cousins to sign with Puma. Maybe 1 or 2 other players, but Puma is making a push now that, they had, I think, Kylie Jenner was with one of them, or one of the Jenners was a Puma, personality, whatever you want to call it. They're making a push. They had some cool shoes come out, but this would have been the pinnacle. If you're going to get Zion, who is an international presence now, it would have been huge for them, and they fell through. Michael Jordan wins. He gets Zion. Yeah. They offer him a shit ton of money. He's going nowhere. You know that he's going to have a signature shoe out for the first time ever for a rookie, which is huge.
I love Zion too. Look, the Jordan brand is going to be the Jordan brand, whether Zion's there or not. But I always feel like there is a personality presence that comes along with those deals, and Zion is such a different, young superstar or potential superstar personality that to me is more of the win. The face of Zion versus the potential talent and what he could do in the NBA. Like him as a person, him as a human being, he just seems so genuine, and you don't see that anywhere in the NBA. You don't.
Couple surprising statistics came up in when I was reading through this deal. There was a pretty cool article that went through all of it. Only 7% of players in the NBA wear Jordan brand shoes or signed to Jordan brand, which is weird to me. I feel like we see the Concords out there all the time.
Right.
Literally Markieff Morris and the other Morris, they always have Concords on. I feel like every player and every team has a Jordan shoe on, yet only 7% of them are signed to Jordan.
Huh.
On top of that, the only ones with the signature shoe are Russell Westbrook and not Dwayne Wade anymore because he left and went to that Chinese company. I think there's only one other person. I can't even remember the name of it off the top of my head. I think Chris Paul might be the only other one. So yeah, Jordan brand is not as big as I had thought in the NBA now, which was shocking to me. I had thought Jordan brand was up there, almost as much of a market share as Nike unto itself. But no, everyone is signed to Nike. They're trying to change up their branding and stuff and get a greater following again in basketball and not lose ground to this Chinese company that is apparently coming after everyone too. So,
I'll have to read that article.
Yeah, I'll have to send it over to you. It went into a little bit too of what the Chinese company brought to the table when they talked to Zion, and they tried to bring him to their off-site marketing place, which I can only imagine is a sweatshop.
I was just gonna say, why would you take someone there?
I don't think that's a talking point. Whereas when he went to up to Nike in Oregon, they just opened the compound up and were welcome Zion, what do you want? We'll do whatever we can for you. by the way, here's Michael Jordan. Like, and that probably sealed the pitch for him.
I would seal the pitch for me, honestly.
That and $75 million. Like,
true.
So, yeah.
All right, so my third is Carmelo Anthony. I don't understand how this jackass somehow is attempting to talk himself into being the NBA's victim right now.
Yep.
I want to punch him in the throat. Like, he is one of the most unlikable superstars and stars of the NBA for me in, like, my last 15, 20 years, since he's come in the league in 03 or 04, whatever year it was.
I think 03.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. But he has just been an ass everywhere that he's been. And he's been this, like, completely immovable object. And then that interview, he's just like, this stuff was never presented to me. All he had to say was, Melo, it's best for the team if you go to the bench and you provide this particular role. And I'd have fought it a little bit, but, like, I would have done it if it's what no one told me. Fuck you, dude.
Yeah, that was
never going to happen.
That was literally never going to happen. And all the stories that came out during that time had said Melo refuses to come off the bench.
Right? So, everything. And he's like, no, I never had that conversation.
Yeah, and we're all very quick to forget that Melo was definitely a dick and had a huge ego.
Oh, my God.
And was promised to be this huge deal in Houston when he went there. Now, I actually have Melo on my list as well, so we can talk about this one a little bit longer. So Melo, NBA Reddit does a great job of building people up as martyrs that they want to be martyrs. They pulled up all the Melo stats and have been like, Melo was actually playing really well for his couple game stint in Houston.
I saw that article and I wanted to fucking
And
throw
I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, don't you remember the backlash that came with him coming to Houston and nobody wanted the guy? Like, you got to remember the presence around it because it's more than just the stats at that point.
Oh, yeah. Because in that article, I think it was that article or another similar one, they had mentioned how the 3 games before he was, cut, or 3 of the 4 games, that 4th game was whatever, but they were like, oh, he filled the stat sheet. He was great. Fuck you.
Yeah.
He's a cancerous presence, which, by the way, 76ers Twitter, if you're into it at all lately, they're all like, we should really take a flyer on this guy.
Everyone wants him.
Hell no.
He went from being the villain of the NBA and everyone was like, haha, we're so happy to see Melo like just fall off, to like, maybe he's not that bad.
Yeah. That's not going to happen.
I hope we don't get him. And I was a big
end
Melo
of Brett
guy,
Brown.
but yeah, I agree. It would be a mistake and it would be a locker room issue.
Like, you handled Jimmy Butler great. I don't know how you did it. Everything seemed to be okay, and that is what it is. Do not, like, Jimmy's in Miami now. Let's not bring in a bigger jackass than Jimmy to this team, who is undoubtedly not going to accept the role. Unlike Jimmy appeared to accept last year, I'm a 4th quarter guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, man, I would be so angry to see Carmelo Anthony in a fucking Sixers jersey.
So, as I had said, I had Carmelo on my list as well, but what we can do is take a small turn here and talk about the not top 5, which is Team USA Basketball, who were in talks with Hoodie Melo, not normal Melo, Hoodie Melo. They thought about bringing him back. He's the greatest international basketball player of our generation. Even they didn't want Melo.
Needed a persona and alter ego.
Literally, Landry Shamit's turning them down.
I know.
They cannot get a soul on this team.
Who? Was it the Bill Simmons that Landry Shamit came back at?
I'm not sure.
I think it was Bill Simmons. I think it was just like, I'm hurt, man. Like, it's more important for me to get healthy than to go play some games for Team USA.
Yeah. It's crazy to me that we live in, one of the greatest countries in the world, and no one wants to represent us to play basketball. There's just no honor associated with it in the slightest. They cannot get enough bodies even to fill the bench. JJ Redick turned them down. Like, literally everyone turned them down except for Carmelo Anthony, who they turned down, which makes this story great. Adding more onto that, Giannis came out and said, because he apparently is great at media stuff now, said he would trade the MVP award for a gold medal in a heartbeat. Which he definitely had some marketing person that was like, Giannis, you got to say this, man. Like, you can win the hearts and minds of America by just making this small comment. You're never going to win a gold medal, by the way. Greece is never going to be that good, but,
Still.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is that all you got on Melo?
Yeah, it's far too much time spent on Carmelo Anthony at this point.
You know what? It's our top 5 of the week there.
Yeah.
You want to take the second one?
Yeah, so I guess this will be my last one here, who my boy CJ McCollum signed a huge deal to stay in Portland. My favorite thing that came out of this wasn't people applauding him for his loyalty or saying it was a great move for the Blazers. What came out was the fact that they may have the best backcourt in all of basketball, people were saying. A lot of people were quick to say that him and Dame are better than Steph and Clay, which I don't quite know if I agree with. I'm obviously a TJ McCollum truther here, and I think he's great. I think we're putting a little too much on them to say that they're the best backcourt in basketball.
They may be now.
They might be now.
Steph Curry's 104,
right? That's true.
Clay has one leg. So
Steph Curry's got 47 grandkids already. So I mean, he's a walker to get to the floor.
Yeah.
It's like him and Uncle Drew. But to me, they are very good and they're very exciting. And Dame Lillard, I mean, he has to win an MVP at some point, right? Like
he's explosive offensive. I always find him to be a bit of a liability in terms of the kind of ball control that he needs, and then defensively. Yeah. I don't see his defensive presence as something that's phenomenal. I know other people find him to be at least adequate. I am not that guy. But what he provides for you offensively each and every night, like holy shit, that is a deadly backcourt though, and I do think the two of them balance each other very well.
They do, and I'm surprised how well it's worked out for them. Two mid-major guys, like they both came in with the exact same mindset. They took Portland over. We're gonna have Nurkic back there too because he was hurt the back end of the year, which. If you remember that horrific injury he had.
That was pretty gross.
That was definitely gross.
I can't watch injuries anymore after my knee.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you with your shoulder and everything like that. Like, can you watch injuries now?
I can just because I'm a medical guy and I like that stuff. But even for me, I saw that one and was like, oh no, I'm gonna close this window. Like, move on to the next tweet here. I cannot see that.
Yeah, hard pass.
Yeah. So they're gonna be good. The Trailblazers. There's a world where they sneak into the top end of the playoffs and do some real damage in the West.
I think so. Look, as long as they're healthy, they do need to make some depth moves.
They do.
There's some quality stuff there. Obviously led by the backcourt. So I had two left. We won't talk much on the second one. It's Kendrick Perkins for, again, going on a Hall of Fame rant, which is hilarious to me. I don't know why he's so passionately involved in this conversation, but this is now 3 weeks in a row that he has said some dumb shit. But for anyone who has listened to any of our recent segments, maybe not a recent segment, so we talk about the Andre Iguodala type of thing here, and is he a Hall of Famer, is he not? Conversation, as much as Andre Iguodala is my favorite 76er of my lifetime, I do not believe he is a Hall of Famer. But Kendrick Perkins, man, he is talking for all of you who have not been into the Hall of Fame. And then my last one here is, I'm surprised you didn't have it also, is Aaron Gordon's interview calling Markelle Fultz a monster. He is a monster. And I can't even remember the quote now. I did have it written down on my rough draft and accidentally threw that one out. But it wasn't English. Whatever he said in his interview, it was 3 sentences of like something that cannot be at all considered the English language, all praising Markelle Fultz and saying he's a beast. Holy shit.
Yes, I had like briefly saw this like earlier in the week, and I just can't even give Markelle Fultz a time of day anymore right now.
I loved Markelle Fultz's pick. I was so excited, and it took me so long to get off that island, and I can't be talked back into it by someone like Aaron fucking Gordon.
Yeah, I agree. It to throw a metaphor at it, Markelle Fultz was like the dad who comes back once a month and drives in his hot rod Corvette, drives you around, gets you an ice cream, buys you a dope baseball hat, and then he starts coming around less and less, and you start getting your feelings hurt or whatever, and finally you get burnt to a point where you're like, I can't believe what this guy says. He's got to show up and do something before I get back
That's
into
a
it.
quality metaphor.
That's how Markelle Fultz is to me. Guy broke my heart. I think we talked a bit about him before, and I had said I wish the best for him. He's a young kid, but I cannot get on board. I can't do that to myself again right now. So if Aaron Gordon says he's a monster, he's probably not, because if it was Aaron Gordon to say this, but I hope he comes out and starts actually playing basketball again. So
yeah, like I said, it took me forever to get off that island. I hoped well for him and, getting into Orlando. And then I was during that summer league interview where they're like, yeah, we're not really sure when he's going to play. I'm like, man, that sounds familiar. Fuck that guy. Right. He is robbing the NBA of millions of dollars. Holy shit. And anyone who bought his jersey. You didn't buy his jersey, right?
No.
By the way, you're supporting a sick shirt there with the Iverson crossover on Jordan.
Yeah.
Quality shirt.
This is it's from a company, what's it called? Affiliated. They do cool kind of pieces like this. It's just the word affiliated in different kind of colors. And as Shane said, it's representing the iconic, Allen Iverson crossover of Jordan back in, the 90s when Iverson was a rookie or his second year.
Rookie year.
I think it was rookie year, and he showed Jordan up. Got this one. I got the step over shirt from them too. Which
step over shirt's got to be awesome.
Step over shirt's it's my favorite piece of Sixers memorabilia I have. I got it for a birthday from a couple friends. I wear it constantly. So yeah, it was a good pickup, and it's good to be around people that appreciate the moment as opposed to just oh, is that an old N1 shirt? Or like, oh, are those basketball players on there? Like, the amount of times people have asked me if this is an N1 shirt pisses me off.
That would also piss me off, although I had a lot of N1 gear back in junior high.
Oh, I would wear all the N1 gear again right now. It's just, no, asshole, this one is not.
Oh, all right. So we spent a lot of time talking on ANYP's top 5 media players of the week. I feel as though we should do like a top 4 or a top 6, one of the two, and then we talk about it beforehand rather than doing 10 of these. Yeah. Because that took up 30 minutes. I didn't realize.
It's the off season, right? We need stuff to talk about now.
We need shit to talk about.
During the year, we'll cut it back a little bit here.
We'll just do a top media player of the week. Some asshole made news.
It's probably a good move.
But one of the things that we are trying to integrate is different pop culture things or other outside the box references and things that we feel as though our people may enjoy. So this is going to be a Zumoff's Call of the Week, and that is honoring the best voice in sports here in Philadelphia. Love everything that he has. But he's also a hell of a nice guy. I've always enjoyed meeting him.
You met him, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's super nice guy, and meet him once and he remembers you, which is really strange.
That's
when
incredible.
I was taking photos for Sports Illustrated 2011, 12, 13, somewhere in that range. Met him in the media room, and then he came to my old work in totally don't want to be known, gray sweatpants, gray everything, a hat. I didn't recognize him. He recognized me, and he was like, "Hey, I know you. You took pictures for the Sixers at one point." And I was like, "Hey, Mark Zumoff."
That's incredible.
No one knows what you look like right now, but hell of a nice guy. So anyway, Zumoff's Call of the Week is going to be a point of the segment for 60 seconds. We're going to sit here and recommend either a book, movie, TV show, podcast, or anything else to occupy your time when you're not listening to the ANYP podcast, because I can't provide you with 24 hours of content. So, Scott, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go with a classic here. So I have been listening to, it's a podcast, now it's called Circling Back. It used to be called Touching Base. It's basically just a group of guys who, do you remember Total Frat Move? So it was a website that came out. It was basically just built off this Twitter thing where people would do douchey stuff in college, as guys and frats do. And it was a Twitter account built entirely off of that. This podcast spun from those guys as they got older and realized they couldn't be douchebags anymore. So they just kind of talk on life and, what it's like to be in your, late 20s, early 30s. And just kind of the weird stories that come up in the day. Similar to how, we take a casual approach to, I'd say, sports and stuff here. We get a little analytical, not too crazy. They do the same thing with kind of pop culture and news and all that. So check them out. The Circling Back guys.
Circling Back, it's called?
Yeah.
All right, solid. I'll give that a shot. So I'm gonna hold on. Well, we have a guest in studio at this moment. Scott, open that door, let him out, so you can go see whoever the hell's outside of studio. That's our dog, by the way, Bryce. Just doing awful things. All right, so I'm gonna recommend a book. It is called The Wasp Factory by Ian Banks. This was originally recommended to me by a buddy of mine who has recommended to me actually almost every favorite book I've ever read. So I will do exactly as he did to me when he sold this to me, and I will let you decide if you want to read this book or not. And the correct answer, by the way, is yes, you do want to read this book. So the back of the book reads, Meet Frank Calderham. Just 16 and unconventional to say the least. 2 years after I killed Blythe, I murdered my young brother Paul for quite different and more fundamental reasons than I disposed of Blythe. And then a year after that, I did the same to my young cousin Esmeralda, more or less on a whim. That's my score to date, 3. I haven't killed anybody for years, and I don't intend to ever again. It was just a strange stage that I was going through. Weird as hell.
It's a weird take on murder.
It's a weird take on everything.
Yeah.
And when I tell you that this is one, and it's a quick read, it's like 180-some pages, 180, 190 pages. You can read it in a night. And it is just fascinating turn after fascinating turn into the mind of someone who was very clearly not right. And he may or may not be not right as a result of other things and other people. So fascinating book, and it was one of those few moments where I, whilst reading, had to pick up the phone and call the person who recommended the book to me and just cuss them out. In a totally positive way. It's a wonderful, wonderful book, and wonderful is a terrible word. That makes it sound like it's uplifting. It's fucked. It's twisted. It's great. It's brilliant. Read the book.
Sounds captivating. I got a 6-hour flight ahead of me the next couple days.
You can read it in 2 hours.
Probably going to crank that one out. Sounds good.
Yeah. It's a quality decision. So that is our Zumoff call of the week here. Like I said, we are going to sit here and recommend different things to you. It is Circling Back, the podcast Scott recommended, and then Ian Banks' book called The Wasp Factory. So now we're going to get into, and we'll do this one really, really quickly, this part, because we do have a mailbag section today. So over the next several weeks, we're going to sit here and we're going to go through the NBA Power Rankings, and after a just wild offseason to date. So this is going to be all the teams that are not in our postseason, or what we feel. So I did the list. Scott doesn't know what the list is yet, so we'll chunk it right now. So we'll do the first 5, and then tell me you think anything differently here, and we'll just kind of work through. We'll go 30 to 17 here. So my bottom 5 teams are the Cavs, the Knicks, the Hornets, the Grizzlies, and the Thunder.
I disagree with the Thunder being that far down. The rest of it I feel like is pretty accurate. You guys all know how I feel about the Knicks and how happy it makes me that they suck. Interesting point with the Cavs. I kind of forgot they were in basketball because they're entirely irrelevant now. Do you think they're just destined to suck forever again?
I do, and I think that that's kind of like the sell your soul to the devil for a championship, and for your second stint of LeBron. Like they lose LeBron and they get 75 first-round picks, number 1 overall in a row. It's absurd. Never seen that shit before in my life. Never seen so many fucking ping pong balls.
Very clearly rigged.
Oh yeah, and fucking insane. And then LeBron fucking comes back.
Yep.
And and takes down Warriors dynasty in one of those approaches. It's just, I fucking hate the Cavs, and they deserve a lifetime of Knickshood. Like that's it. Like they and the Knicks should forever the Knicks, we've talked about it as much as we hate them. It's good for basketball when a major market city is good, but still fuck them. I hate the Knicks and I hate the Cavs. So for me, the Cavs are there because and look, until they can come down off their fucking this is what we want for Kevin Love, they're forever going to be bad. This is the Ruben Amaro approach of Cole Hamels, the entire remainder of the core at that point. So they need to move on from Love, and they need to lessen their price for what they're asking there. The Knicks, we understand they're just a bad basketball team. They are young though. Like they do really intrigue me. Like they're young pieces. They're not going to be good yet, but
I don't get how they fit together at all.
They don't have to fit together.
Yeah,
honestly, in today's NBA, like skill sets don't really have to fit together. It's more so there's no definitive position anymore. Like unless you're only a center who can't move, like, you do everything. Everyone's big, everyone's strong, everyone's fast. It's bizarre. I think more so it's personality wise that I sit there and find conflict with. But like I said, they're young guys. They're intriguing. The Hornets, I just think, fuck, man, Jesus Christ, they're irrelevant. Like, who gives a shit?
So the worst thing in the world for the Hornets would be for them to play good at all this year. They need to tank it and suck.
Oh, yeah.
Like, maybe win 2 games the whole year would be the best thing for them. If they sneak in and grab an 8 seed or something, which they're not going to.
They can't, not without them.
There's just no way. But if they fuck around even close to the playoffs and screw up their draft prospects or give that front office any semblance of hope right now, then they're doing it wrong.
Yes, 100% agree. Then we went with the Grizzlies and Thunder. I went with the Grizzlies. This is all about what kind of ceiling Ja can create. Obviously a supremely talented guy in college basketball. He's fun. I just don't know what he's got in the NBA like around him right now. So the Grizzlies are what the Grizzlies are. Thunder, to me, I listed them there. You said you disagreed. I just don't feel as though it behooves them to be good.
Yeah.
To me, they expedited Hinkie approach right now. They have all of their assets in one off season. They just completely revamped their asset pool, and they're all movable. Chris Paul's another one. Do they buy him out? Do they sell? I think it behooves them to be complete garbage this year, not unlike your approach with the Hornets. Get a lottery pick and a top 3, and really see and define what you want this team to be going forward. And I actually think they can have an incredibly quick turnaround. I'm talking like next year they could be that good.
I think they could. Where do you think Steven Adams ends up? Do you think he stays there or?
See, they love him there. Mm-hmm. Like the fan base fucking loves him. He loves the fan base. So I could see that fit there. But I would say if the front office envisions in the next year or two this works out, and we believe we can put contenders around him again, because he's a unique big. He's just, and he looks like, what's his name? Jason Momoa, which freaks me the fuck out. But I think that it would behoove them to keep him because it is hard to find bigs of that skill set. But if they think at all for a second that this is going to be 3 years or more before they're competitive, and in all likelihood it may, just because of where they play. But I could see the Knicks, honestly. How about you?
Sure, the Knicks just have every big guy in the world, so they might have Steven Adams bringing the ball up the court to start the game.
Why not?
Yeah, whatever. I think he's going to leave, but I don't know where he's going to go. I think it's going to be one of the strangest things in the next offseason because I think his contract is up after this year.
Is it this year? I thought it was next.
Maybe it's next then. But hey, in today's NBA, your contract is irrelevant now anyway.
Yeah,
regardless, though, I'm really looking to see where he ends up. Chris Paul, we kind of talked, I think, how we feel bad for him a little bit. Unfortunately, he's just kind of a casualty of the process. So I don't think they're going to be this bad, but as you'd said, it would behoove them to be this bad.
Yeah.
Get another asset.
100%. So then we got 25 through 21. I have the Suns, Bulls, Wizards, Kings, and T-Wolves. It's hard to do this as we're just sitting here without a full list in front of us at the moment, but
I have a decent mental list of the power rankings. The only thing that's hard now is remembering who's on what team.
With all the moves.
The T-Wolves are an interesting kind of team right now because they don't necessarily have anyone, but then you forget that Karl Anthony Towns is one of the best players in the NBA. He's so forgettable because he doesn't do anything like overly crazy or aggressive. He's a quiet guy in the media. You still have Andrew Wiggins, right? They haven't gotten rid of him.
He's a bum.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't really know what to make of them. They're a confusing team for me. You could tell me that they're one of the worst teams in the league, or you could tell me that they're going to make a run for it in the playoffs this year, and I could be swayed on either way.
They're a hard team to figure out. I actually think most of those teams that I just listed are kind of hard to figure out.
Yeah.
And for some similar reasons, I do genuinely feel like the Suns and the Bulls are basically the same team. Mm-hmm. They have a really interesting starting five, both of them very young and not yet fully proven, but in theory their starting five is good, and then beyond that you're like, what the fuck is there? There's nothing. Wizards are just fuck the Wizards, man.
I hope they go away. Just get rid of them. Yeah.
That's a team I actually genuinely do kind of feel bad for. The John Wall injury bug thing, that is what it is. The Beal being there, taking the shot on Dwight Howard, which was whatever. They shouldn't be bad, and they are. And then they always give the Sixers fits, and it pisses me off all the time. Granted, this year they gave us fits on a back-to-back home and home. So
yeah, the Bradley Beal thing is so weird to me because he's a stud, and he's going to be sought after. He's going to get traded to some other major market this year.
Yes.
I'm not sure where he's going to fit in. Maybe Miami. I guess Houston can't take anyone else at this point. I'm sure something weird will come up, and there'll be a trade that we didn't even see coming mid-year, and it'll be Bradley Beal. The John Wall thing, I've been reading into it a little bit. Insurance is going to pay most of his contract.
Yeah.
So that's like the lone win for them if he doesn't come back and play, which they're not going to let him. Like,
I wouldn't.
Yeah, he's going to sit out. But John Wall is an incredible talent. I would say he's similar to Ben Simmons in the athleticism he brings, but he can shoot. So they weren't wrong in giving him this contract because they kind of had to, but it's a brutal one, man. Like it's not good. Yeah. So they're just handcuffed by that stuff. But
let's see. We went down. What did I go down to the Timberwolves? All right. So for 20-17, I have the Pistons, Magic, Heat, and Hawks. I have the Hawks just outside of that top 16 there. But man, I genuinely feel like the Hawks could be a contender. They're so fun.
Trae Young's awesome.
He's so fun.
Yeah.
He's such an ugly kid.
He really is.
It's so weird.
And he weighs what, like 135 pounds?
I don't know, but I think it's all in his hair.
Yeah,
like,
I think I could take
and his
him.
mustache. Like I don't know. I feel like him and Landry Shamet look a lot alike too.
They do, except he's way better than Landry Shamet.
He is way better than and dude, think about how bad of not bad, just how underwhelming of a first half Trae had, and then to come on the way he did after the All-Star break. That kid's fucking good. He is. I
like when him and Devin Booker go at it. There was a game or two where both of them just went off shooting together. Like it was something else. I liked seeing that. So yeah, the whole Phoenix is another weird team too. I don't really know what to think of them. It's not a major market in sports. No one seems to want to stay there if they go. But Devin Booker loves it, and like didn't he come out in the offseason last year and say that teams should want to come, or people should want to come play with him?
Yeah, I don't understand.
And I was like, I know your role, buddy. Like, you haven't really done anything quite yet, aside from scoring like 80 points in a game. Like,
yeah, he's not that guy.
No.
Not that guy.
Phoenix isn't that city either.
I don't know. People seem to like.
I like Phoenix. One of our cousins goes to ASU, and I've been out there visit a couple times. There? Patrick.
How about that?
Yeah. So shout out to ASU. It's a good time out there always. Phoenix is a good city for music and stuff. I actually almost took a job there before I moved to California. So I do like it there, but it's a weird mix because it's like 1,000 degrees for like 3 months out of the year. So you cannot leave your house. Like you become a mole person. You only leave at night. The nightlife isn't overwhelming there. It'd be good for guys like us, because we're not balling out like big NBA players, but
fair.
Big NBA players would probably prefer to be in a giant coastal city.
Probably so. Any other thoughts on teams not in the playoff mix?
No, I am going to pay close attention to the Thunder, and I think the Timberwolves is another one too. I got to dissect them, and I'll get back next week and talk a bit more about them because as we bring them up, those are the teams that spark a lot of interest in me. I got to figure out what those guys are doing.
Yeah, I don't know. And like I said, I think from, let's see, probably, like 22-17. I think every team in that mix right there is, 3 to 5 game swing in playoffs or not. Mm-hmm. You're looking at a Kings team who is interesting, a Wolves team that's interesting, a Pistons who, if Blake's knee is good for a whole season, like they're interesting.
I think the Pistons could be a good team, but
I always think
it's just because I like Blake Griffin. I think
I hate Blake Griffin.
He's a funny guy, and he's so multi-talented, so he's easy to hate that way. Because it's like, oh, you're 6'10" and athletic, but wait, you're funny too? Are you kidding me? Like, oh, and also girls think you're really good looking. Like, God damn it, Blake! Like, what can't you do? So I like him because of that, but yeah, who knows? That guy's knees are made of glass. Like,
yeah, it's a shame.
He might have worse knees than you, man. Like,
anyone who has worse knees than me is they should not be playing professional sports. All right, so we'll roll into a mailbag segment. We'll give quick answers on these. We do have 8 questions, 10 questions, something like that. For all future reference, you can email us in for these mailbag questions or mail take questions, whatever you got. It is anypodcastteam@gmail.com. You can also leave us reviews in the iTunes or Apple review board or wherever you listen to podcasts. We will get your reviews that way. So, 4 mailbag questions this week. First one. Which bench player do you think will have the most significant impact role for the 76ers?
I would love it to be Shake, but I just don't think that he will, unfortunately.
That's funny. That's the second question.
So I have not seen these questions, so that is a funny coincidence. I think Mike Scott's a huge guy off the bench. We need him to do what he always does, lead the second line, eat up a lot of time, minutes and all that. We missed his presence really hard in the playoffs when he was hurt, and I think that shows how important he is. So
I went with O'Quinn. I just think that in efforts to manage Joel Embiid's minutes as best we can, and I mean Al Horford's 33, 32, 33, so having another legitimate big in there that can just dominate the low post in that way and give you serviceable time is a luxury we did not have. I mean, we had Greg Monroe, Amir Johnson and his cell phone, and who the hell else did we have in there? Boban. I love Boban. That's a damn shame. And then who the hell else? I feel like there's like 13 different guys. Whoever came over in the Jimmy Butler deal, I can't remember his name right now, but I genuinely liked him. He had the broken foot.
I can't think of his name either. I feel like we just always have a mismatch of just random bigs coming off the bench, and that's kind of the state of the NBA is like, you know what, you're 7 feet tall, you're probably going to get a contract for a little bit, like Taco Fall signing with the Celtics, which I think is a great move. Like, he's comically big, like
he doesn't
even
make
in the
sense.
NBA. No,
and like Boban, like he looks funny, and like that is what it is. Like he's a marketable person. Taco's just like bald and awkward. Like he looks like Kevin Garnett's caricature is in a Celtics uniform for me right now. Like that's what he looks like. Just some big, bald, tall guy. Yeah. Just strange. But yeah, so I'm going O'Quinn on mine just purely for the health management and minutes management of both of our premier bigs. Second one, it is a Shake question. With Shake having a disappointing summer league, do you see him losing out to Raul Neto? They didn't put Trey Burke in here, so I don't know if they knew that he had been signed, but or Trey Burke, we'll say. Or are you not particularly concerned?
I am concerned. I think I'd said before I pushed the panic button on Shake a little bit. I think Trey Burke is going to bring a little more competition to the bench and take away from his minutes, so Shake's going to thrive off that because... And if he doesn't, then we'll figure out real quick how good the guy is. If he can't beat out Trey Burke for minutes, then I don't.
Do you worry about Brett Brown's utilization of him though?
I worry about Brett Brown like falling in love with Trey Burke a little bit because he's a veteran. He's been around a little bit. We don't have a ton of those, and I don't think that's the right move.
Nor do I, but I do think there's a comfortability in the vet approach, and in guys who have been there, and like. I liken him in that respect kind of to Doug Collins. And fuck, how much more fun the Doug Collins team would have been with Jrue Holiday playing more than 3.5 minutes a night in his rookie year. So that is something that I genuinely hope that Brett Brown understands that the NBA doesn't fucking matter in the regular season that much. And we have a really good team in the East. You can afford to not screw up Shake in the ways that you kind of screwed up the development process of Jonah Bolden.
Yeah, we signed him for a long deal. I mean, the guy's going to be around like
5 years.
Yeah, we need to utilize him
for sure. All right, so who will Joel make to go out and take or get his massive fast food orders? So basically, who is the new Landry Shamet and TJ and Bryce is talking in the background?
Can you make O'Quinn his bitch?
I would love it.
I think O'Quinn might be a little too established. He's giant.
Oh my god, he looks like a fucking linebacker. Bryce, come here. That's a dog, by the way. Sorry, guys.
I did hear Michael Rubin did an interview. He was on the Simmons podcast the other day, and I like Michael Rubin a lot. And he was talking about how he's like, Joel's in great shape. He stopped eating all this stuff, and I was like, oh, Michael, did I bring this up a couple weeks ago? Did you happen to listen to the ANYPD podcast and feel the need to confirm that Joel is looking good now? But it's good to see that he grew up a little bit, isn't just eating McDonald's and drinking Shirley Temples anymore.
It is good.
So maybe no one will be getting his food for him. Who knows?
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I was trying to think of the funniest things possible. And I couldn't really come up with anything that humorous, so Brett Brown. What if Brett Brown just comes in with a fucking salad every day? It's just like, here, there is chicken with no taste on it and leaves. You're welcome. I don't know. Yeah, I actually think that maybe there won't be a new, like, rookie-esque kind of you're my bitch guy.
Yeah.
Who is the new TJ on the roster? So this one I enjoy specifically because TJ brought so much energy to the Wells Fargo Center and to the bench and team. He's so funny for so many different ways. There is going to be a bit of personality that this team lacks now that TJ kind of left. Who do you see filling that role?
I hate to beat the Mike Scott dead horse here, but I mean that guy, he's so electric. Like there's no anyone else even has a chance of that, because aside from Joel Embiid, we don't have a team full of guys with big personalities. It's Joel Embiid and Mike Scott. I'd love to see Ben Simmons wake up a little bit, but he's just kind of a boring guy.
Yeah.
So let him focus on playing basketball. Let Mike Scott be funny and have the fans reel in for everything and drinking wine out of the stands and stuff.
Hilarious.
Like, yeah.
Dude is too funny. The only other one that I could think outside of TJ is I do think the combination of Matisse and Zhaire could be very fun for the crowd, because they both seem to have this like innocence about them. Like Zhaire seems to have a little bit more of a fuck you killer instinct there that we saw in Summer League, but Matisse genuinely seems like, hey, he looks like if one of us suited up right now and we'd be like, this is the coolest fucking thing ever. I'm passing the ball to Joel Embiid right now. I'm getting a Simmons dime. Like, this is sick. He's just so electrically happy.
That's true, and that was what made us all love TJ McConnell, is that like jovial, like little kid spirit that you definitely don't see in today's NBA. So maybe Matisse Thybulle will be the guy.
Yeah, so I think it could be one of those two, but I do think in all actuality it would be Mike Scott. It's a good question. So obviously the 76ers have guests come out and ring the bell every year or before every home game. Top 5 pregame, who do you want to see ring the bell? I think 5's a lot, so let's go with 1 or 2 each that we definitely want.
I mean, we always like to see Meek Mill hop out there. That's a big one for me.
Don't really know why.
Meek Mill has been around in the city for a long time. I mean, I think Dream Chasers is his mixtape he thrown back in the day, and
it's from Coatesville.
Yeah. So I mean, it's good seeing him out there. Kevin Hart's a good one to always have.
I hate Kevin Hart.
You know,
he has so unfunny.
He has become a lot less funny.
He has one shtick.
Yeah,
he's got one thing.
Just being small.
That's it.
Maybe I have a soft spot for him because I am small as well. But we big at the same time, son, right? Like,
oh, nice bit.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Maybe get one of us out there. Maybe. I
can dig that.
Maybe Rice Hoskins. I'd like to have him, or let's give Real Muto. Nobody. That guy doesn't have any personality. Nobody lets him do anything.
I feel like he's just really quiet and angry all the time, like just ready to explode. Like if someone asks him a genuine question to be like, dude, why do the Phillies offense suck? Let me tell you about how much I hate John Malley.
Yeah.
I hope that's what he would say. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like anyone that we would want to see ring the bell has rung the bell. But I think number one for me would be Hinkie, and I don't want it to be in a regular season game.
No, absolutely not.
I think that or just let Joe come back out again with the Phantom mask. I thought that was pretty awesome. The first game of that Miami series, 2 years ago.
Who? All right, well, let's take an alternate approach here. Who is the number one guy you do not ever want to see ring the bell?
Ooh.
And who we would boo the most as a city?
That's quality. Let's see. You have a name off the top of your head? Go for it.
It's got to be the Don, right? We would boo the president. Like,
yeah.
I mean, Donald Trump comes out and literally it's just chaos in Wells Fargo.
Yeah, that's a T-ball approach to this question, man. Everyone.
Oh, I know that.
Fuck.
I have a great mental image in my head of the Don coming out, like trying to ring this bell and like missing or something like that, and ending up on Twitter and like us getting to make fun of him forever.
All right, I would accept that.
Or maybe the Santa Claus that we all threw snowballs at back in the day for the Eagles.
That would be pretty quality.
Get that guy back out there.
As if we were part of that.
Yeah.
We're certainly not. Damn. Who the hell do I would hate if Donovan McNabb showed up. I fucking loathe Donovan McNabb.
Bad guy. Just not
he's a horrible human.
Yeah. JD would be a good one.
JD would also be another really good one. Fuck that guy. I don't know. That's a quality one. I'm going to pose that as a question on Twitter.
Yeah,
we'll
I want to see what other people say on this.
All right. Let's see. Sixers don't have a true rival outside of Boston. Who do you see the Sixers developing bad blood with this season?
The Lakers, without doubt. I hope that they get. They're two powerhouses on opposite sides of the country. When the Lakers,
both with really marketable teams,
yeah, young guys. I mean, I hope Joel Embiid and Anthony Davis start talking shit a little bit or something like that, and they meet a couple times a year and things get cheeky. It would be good for all of basketball for us to have the Lakers as a rival.
Yeah, I agree. Sticking on the East, I do think it'll end up being Miami. I don't think it'll happen like overnight, but I think it, maybe post-trade deadline if they acquire a Bradley Beal or something like that and become a little bit more of a legitimate Eastern Conference threat. I do think the last thing that we'll ever want is Jimmy Butler winning a playoff series here in Philadelphia as a member of the Miami Heat.
I agree. And we always play the Heat tough. Like, it doesn't matter if we're good, they're bad, they're good, we're bad. Like,
they're just so physical and just edgy. They're like a 1980s hockey team on a basketball court. It's bizarre.
It's a good way of putting it.
All right. Do you think Ben Simmons finally starts shooting threes, and what percentage do you think he'll shoot?
No. There's no way he's shooting threes already.
I actually do think he's going to shoot threes, but I think it's going to be very, very seldomly seen. But I don't think his percentage will be that bad. I think that if he shoots, 50 threes this year, I'd be shocked. Like, I think that they will happen, but I don't think that they will, be crazy or on any type of crazy pace. But I could see him knocking down like 30, 35%.
All right, let's set the number for it now, and I feel like this is something we'll be able to go back and visit at the end of the year. Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead. I don't have a good number in my head, to be perfectly honest.
Let's. All right, so I don't think he'll shoot a three, average 1 3 a game. I think he'll average. Let's set it at like 61.5.
Oh, I'm hitting the under on that one. Yeah. I think he's going to come out and miss a first three. And people are going to be talking about it again. He's going to get gun shy.
See, but what happens if he comes in first shot of the NBA season next year for the 76ers is a Ben Simmons pull-up three, and he nails it?
The crowd goes nuts. We make that
like the Markelle Fultz thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, he's never going to stop then, I hope.
Yeah.
It's ugly as hell.
It'll be like the deep to Deshaun first play from the Eagles. You know it's coming every time, but you can't stop it.
That would be fantastic.
That Ben Simmons three.
There you go. No one will ever use that comparison, but no. I love it. That's weird. What is your preferred route driving to games? Are you a music guy or a podcast guy, or do you sit in silence and diagnose your pregame thoughts? That's awesome. I take all back roads. I take. When's the last time you went to a game here? Like 4 years ago.
I usually try to get down to a Sixers game every time I'm home in the winter, but I haven't the last 2 years. So
yeah.
So I couldn't tell you the best route. I usually just get stuck on 95, and I'd
see, and that's why I don't go that way.
Yeah, it should not go that way. When I used to live in Bethlehem, I would take I would always just end up on 95 getting stuck, and I would be angry about myself and my decisions. And at that point, I usually switch from listening to a podcast to just being angry and throw some music on there. Maybe throw a little talk radio on or something just to divert my anger. But
there you go. Well, I can't possibly divert your anger listening to talk radio.
That's true.
Yeah, I feel like no matter what way you go, it's going to be dog shit getting down to that fucking place. But I myself am a whoever I'm with. I don't typically. I think almost all the time I go down to games, and I go down with Stephanie. So I try to do anything that makes her not need to pee, because she has a tiny bladder, and that drives me crazy. So then I sit in traffic and try to find I'm way too focused on, I definitely can't take this way, abort this road. We may get stopped for 5 minutes, and that might be the difference of me missing tip-off or not.
Yeah.
So I think I'm way too like involved in the Waze app and things of like, all right, I should not take this road right now. There's an accident. There's this. Some guy's peeing on the side of the road. Can't go this way. Whatever it is. So, weird question. I feel like if you're looking for a way to take down to the game, don't just, I don't know, fucking watch at home.
Yeah. You just expect to be angry for 2 hours after you get out of work. And then you show up there and you get a hot dog and life's not that bad.
And that is the next question.
Yeah.
Arena food and drink. What is your go-to Wells Fargo Center meal, snack, and drink combo? And are they Mike Scott, steal a bite, or sip worthy? That's actually awesome.
I do like the big slice.
That's what Danny likes too.
Yeah, the big slice is a classic, but I don't get to eat cheesesteaks that often, so if I'm in the city, you better believe I'm getting a cheesesteak. Like,
there you go, the cliche Philly fan.
Yeah.
Scott. But I feel like it's okay, though, because you're not here anymore, so you don't get quality bad food.
Yeah, it's true. Everything's carb-free, gluten-free, and disgusting out on the West Coast. So
that sounds awful.
Yeah.
No wonder you're skinny. I actually don't eat at games because so here's our little awkward insight into what it's like going to games with me or baby Steve. Every time Steve and I go to games, whether it's together or separate, we drive down 15 minutes out from the stadiums or arenas. We got to take a shit. It's a very unpleasant experience to be sitting there and knowing, like, nope, this is the furthest thing from home base experience that I could ever have. I can't. This isn't happening. So instead, we just sit there uncomfortably. I drink coffee, which also doesn't help the situation, or water, and it's a hell of a time. But I got to think that Mike Scott would not steal anything from my plate or cup.
No, quick little story here. So I was dating a girl right, and I moved to California, and she bought me Angels tickets for my birthday, and we went to a Philly's Best, which is a chain of Philly cheesesteaks out on the West Coast. And I ate one of those. Hadn't had the Whiz Wit in a while, and my stomach was gurgling, and I was getting a little uncomfortable. So I didn't know this girl that long, and it's like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. I can release this real quick. 20 minutes later, I'm still stuck in there. I had to explain this, come out, see her, and she was like, well, what are you doing in there? I was like, you know what I was doing in there. Come on. So I have not... Things did not go much further than that date.
For being honest about movement? That's a damn shame.
It's for the best.
So we kind of went over this with the jersey question, but we'll get just your take on this. A lot has been made on the throwback kind of franchise approach the Sixers have. Old jerseys, older style, jingle, an older jingle kind of song. Do you think this team needs to create a brand new image and identity for their overall look before they can ever think about winning an NBA championship?
No, I think the jerseys were all they really need to do. If they get rid of the Sixers song that they play in the stadium, I think we would all have a fucking heart attack.
As do I.
Yeah.
Damn, dog.
Yeah, they can't change too much, right? Like, you can't just... We're already going all in on this team. The jerseys is a nice touch, and they're separating themselves from last year because it is a different look. But other than that, no, we don't need to do anything else.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I also don't really think, as much as the NBA is an image and pop culture type of thing, I don't really think that's going to make a difference as to whether or not they're going to win or compete for an NBA championship. Like, it's just whatever. But good mailbag questions this week. Again, you can reach us on our Twitter. It's at ANY Podcast, or you can email us for all of the mail takes. So if you have takes as well, you can throw them in there. It's anypodcastteam@gmail.com. Also visit our website, www.alwaysnextyearpodcast.com. We're going to end this one with a Zhaire's stash. As always, we're going to give you the NBA's Handsome Player of the Week and figure out if they are, in fact, more handsome than the NBA's seventh best player, Zhaire Smith. Scott, start with you.
Got to bring up an old classic. So Boban had put out kind of a thank you to the Sixers. Appreciated that. And I also saw a clip of him in LA bending the rim dunking. And he was sitting, so he's so fucking tall. All he does is reach up and he hangs on it. And it bent the rim. And they had to stop the game there, pull out a bunch of like nerdy front office dudes in ties trying to fix this rim, all confused. And Boban was just sitting there with this like little innocent look on his face, like, oh, what did I do? I don't know. So it got me thinking about our guy Bobby. He's my good-looking guy of the week here. Definitely not better looking than Zhaire, though.
No competition to Zhaire, but a definite shout-out to Bobby. I love the guy, and he's impossible not to love. What an awesome dude. Man, bent a rim mid-game just by standing. That's brilliant. So mine is Joakim Noah. How the hell? So I read an article on Reddit, I think it was, recently about him. I didn't realize this. His father is a professional tennis player, decent looking guy. Okay. His mother was like top 5 Miss fucking Universe. How did that produce Joakim frickin' Noah?
You kidding me?
I shit you not. His mom's a babe.
We're gonna look her up after this.
Oh my damn, she is a babe. So official ruling is I think that he's the closest, just based on mother association here at this point, at giving Zhaire a run for his money. He is not more handsome than the 7th best player in all of the NBA in Zhaire Smith, but he's fucking close.
That he's got the worst facial hair I've ever seen in my life.
The worst everything I've ever seen. His body's awkward.
Yeah.
It's just strange. He also, man, so when I was shooting games for SI, and he was still with the Bulls, he came out for pregame warmups, right? And like, you interact with a lot of these players half the time when you're down there, and like most of them are semi decent guys, and like they're whatever, and like, but he's so intense. Like the second he comes out, and I was just like, man, like I kind of want to ask him, like, dude, like, is this how you always are? You having a bad day? Like, what's going on? Like, he's just terrifying as I'm setting up cameras and shit. And finally, he comes over and he's getting stretched out right next to my camera station, right, the slot underneath the rim. And he's getting stretched out, and I'm like, did they use 19 tubes of Ben Gay on you? Holy shit balls. That man smells like he just dropped out of a bath of Ben Gay. Fucking unpleasant as anything, man. Then throughout the game, he'd come cruising underneath the net and head back over towards the bench area, and I'm like, nope, still kicking it with the Ben Gay. Holy shit balls. So weird looking guy, funky ass smell, beautiful mother. She's a babe.
I'm excited
and
to go check her mom out. Yeah. Apparently, hot plus hot equals very, very ugly. So,
hot plus hot equals very, very ugly.
Yeah.
All right. You have any final thoughts this week for TJ's One of Us? We went on a long episode with you in studio.
This was a long one. It was good hopping in studio. I'm happy to be back on the East Coast. I will be back in California. You know, I think my flight takes off at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, which fucking sucks.
Sounds terrible.
I'm going to be checking out this book that you recommended, so I'm excited for that. And yeah, it's always good to be back on the East Coast, even if it's just for a little bit. So
yeah, there you go. So Kev, thanks for getting married, guy.
Yeah.
You have opened up a door of Shane. You were next. That is always awkward.
Yeah.
But that's going to be it here for TJ's One of Us at the Always Next Year podcast. Again, you can follow us on Twitter. It's at ANY Podcast. You can follow me, the host of TJ's One of Us, at Shane_Mead. You can follow Scott at SP Novick. That's Novick.
Yeah.
And then again, the website is www.alwaysnextyearpodcast.com. And be sure to rate and review both the podcast, the website, whatever it is. Interact with us any which way that you please. We will be back with another episode of TJ's One of Us next week.
Man, I used to be revered and feared through Killarney. Now I'm back to hitching with a win. But if Mickey Flynn should ever find me, I'll throw me caution all behind me and square off on that son of a bitch again. He cracked open a river too, he beat me Sunday through and through, and such over my unconscious frame. I won me healthy sheriff fights, well lucky son, still happy life since Mickey Flynn beat me dumb and lame.